You know, I was checking you over to see if you were wearing any red. I read, R-A-D, that there's a superstition involving red. Is it too private to reveal?
No, not at all. I believe that...
Oh, no.
When I was... Red. Also, there's red on the tie.
Well, there's a little on the tie, but this is much more dramatic, I must say.
Also, I got red underpants on, but I'm sure you wouldn't see them.
How many would... Well, never mind. Can't let the audience run the show for us. No, I don't think I can go on now. I've never had this happen. I can't take my eyes off. Those are very lovely.
Very elegant. Also, I got very, very beautiful feet.
Yes?
And very dainty ankles, if you noticed.
Never had any complaints.
Never any complaints, yes.
And they're paisley socks for those who want to go out and get some just like them. I don't know why that reminds me, but I had a dream about this show, or these shows, that it was a collector's item, I think. It's, do you want to hear it? It's, maybe are you good at analyzing things like this? You came on in my dream, sat down, did not remove your shoes, and without saying a word, you erected a card table here, and then another, and then another. As in that act in the circus when a clown gets on a stack of tables and sways. You insisted that I get atop this pile of card tables and do the show from there.
Yes, how to analyze that? I would think very quickly that quite clearly it represented in your mind my career. A delicate balance. There's no knowing when the whole cardboard structure would collapse. And you were hoping that it would not.
Why would it be your career, not mine? I've been atop a few card tables.
Well, I think that your reputation as an entertainer, as an interviewer, whatever it is steadier than mine as an actor.
Oh, I see. Well, it's very good of you to put yourself into the precarious position there. Well, if I feel the table slipping at all, I'll certainly be glad to let you know. People around the country are going to get to, in more than New York, are going to get to see you in Camelot. And I think everybody must know that you did it before. So in a lot of ways, you would think it must have been easier this time. And you can think of obvious ways in which it would be. But is there any way in which going back to it was tough or harder than you expected?
Yes, it's a little harder, I think, the second time round, despite the fact that one's technique, etc., there's a much more massive body of technique behind the performance than there was 20 years ago. But one of the most difficult things about the present production is that in the early part of the show, I have to make the audience believe that I'm vulnerable and that I'm not arrogant. And that is very difficult because I've played so many kings and princes. I've assumed a kind of almost regal arrogance every time I go on the stage. And that is the most difficult part of the show for me. The first section of the show, which lasts about perhaps 28 minutes. And it takes me, for a time, I get very little response from the audience. They don't laugh at the laugh lines, and then gradually they accept me and forget who I am, I hope. And then it turns into a perfectly normal audience.
Is there any particular technique that you use for getting that sense of vulnerability? Do you know what it...
Well, I stutter a little. I don't know. Well, you've seen the show and you've seen what I do. I'm not quite sure how I do it, or if indeed I do it. Yeah. Did you think I did it?
Yes, I did. I don't know. Well, certainly. It'd be a fool to say no, wouldn't it?
Well, no, you could say, no, Richard, your natural arrogance came bursting through despite your Orlando costume. That's the most difficult thing, I think, to do.
Yeah. And if all else fails, you can always kick off your shoes and
Yes, yes, yes.
feel sorry for your socks or whatever.
No, actually, I was, as I said to your production manager, I said I very rarely watch talk shows, but when I do, I'm very conscious of people's shoes, because they always cross their legs like this. So let's try that.
That's right. It seems to be a rule.
And the shoes are always in front of the people.
That's right.
And I become so fascinated by the shoes, and I forget to look at the faces. So I thought I'd try with my socks.
That's right.
But maybe they're attracting more attention now, do you think, than...
I don't know. I like the idea that talk shows
I'll
are...
do that.
Have become,
Makes a difference.
I just thought of someone tuning in 5 minutes from now and wondering, saying, he really is on the skids. The guy has no...
Maybe you should explain every so often why.
Tough all over. Every 5 minutes, remind me to
Yeah.
point. You're right. You do feel like you have to cross your legs on a talk show, and it does. They have become more shoe business than show business. Well,
Very good.
if I could get
very
away with
good.
that.
I remember that.
Would you
I must
believe we
use
didn't
it.
plan any of this stuff backstage? Are all Welshmen able to sing like a lark? It seems to be a national trait, and
No, they don't
There-
all sing
there are
like
some.
larks, but I know there was a famous Welshman, for instance, who was famous for his music, actually, a man called Ivan Novello, whose full name is Ivan Novello Davis. And he was a Welshman. He couldn't sing a note, but he wrote those musicals that went on forever and ever. You know, it was, I've forgotten what they were called now, but The Dancing Years, and I think he wrote Keep the Home Fires Burning and stuff like that, but he couldn't sing a note. And I remember his telling me once that he did a tour of hospitals during the war, and a piano was, and he played his famous numbers. And in one ward they asked him to sing, and he said, I can't sing, and they refused to believe him. And there was a lady who accompanied him on the tour. She was Welsh too. And he said, Daphne, you sing. And she said, I can't sing either. So they tried to sing, and I didn't believe him. And I said, well, sing for me now. And he said, well, what do you want me to sing? And I said, well, sing The Minstrel Boy to the War Hath Gone or something. And he sang, and it really was the most extraordinary cacophony, I believe the word is. And it really was The Minstrel Boy to the War Hath Gone. I mean, he couldn't do it at all. And I don't understand that.
he ended up in the musical world. It's
Very strange,
unusual, isn't
yes.
it?
So he could pick out a tune, but he was tone deaf.
I thought the green valleys of Wales always rang with the natural voices of the...
Oh, yes, for the most part, I think we sing rather better than most people. I don't know whether it's the coal dust in the air or
Clearing the lungs.
or the eternal rain.
Yeah.
But certainly most Welsh people sing mellifluously.
Yeah. How do you say what looks like Pontrhydyfen?
Pontrhydyfen. Pontrhydyfen
Pontrhydyfen.
means the bridge. We have a lot of Latin in our language. Means the bridge across the vale or the valley.
Yeah.
And there is a bridge that crosses my village from mountain to mountain.
And that's the village you were born in?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why. I had an image of your childhood as being upper class somehow, and been to Oxford, and undoubtedly was to the manor born, if that's the right use of that. And it was anything but that. I wonder how many other people are under the same mistaken...
No, I had a very happy childhood. We were pretty poor.
Yeah.
It was during the Depression. My father was a miner, and all my brothers except one, my younger brother, were miners. And they all got out of the mines, except the very oldest one, who loved the mines so much that I couldn't bribe him out. I couldn't get him. There was no way I could get him out. And he stayed in until the bitter end. So that he died. He died last year. No, he died this year, actually, about 5 or 6 months ago. And you can imagine how tough the constitution of the family is, that with his lungs full of dust, he lived until he was 79. And he was very angry because he didn't make 80.
Oh.
But to have lived that long and to have worked, he went down the mines when he was 13 years old, and he came up when he was 65.
And he died of the
He
lung
died of-
ailment from...
Yes, pneumoconiosis.
Yeah.
which
You
is
weren't being sarcastic when you said he loved the mines.
Yeah,
You
no, he really
I didn't know anyone loved to...
Oh, yes. Oh, yes,
kind of
my-
romance.
My father, who was apparently a great miner, is in the days before mechanization and so on, when you got the great seam, there's a great seam, a famous seam, a world-famous one, which I believe is called the Great Atlantic Fault. And it starts in northern Spain, in the Basque country, and it goes under the Bay of Biscay, and it comes up in South Wales, and it goes under the Atlantic, and comes up in Pennsylvania. So that if you took a Basque miner or a Welsh miner or a Pennsylvania miner, and if you could blindfold them and transport them, and they know the coal face the minute they saw it, I believe it's 4 feet 6 inches. And my father used to talk about it as some men will talk about women, talk about the beauty of this coal face. And my brothers would tell me stories about my father, who would look at the seam. My father's a very short man, an ideal height for a miner. He was about 5 feet 3 or 4, very, very powerful, of course. And he would look at the seam of coal, and he would, as it were, almost surgically make a mark on it, and then ask his boy. Every miner has a boy who works for him, and he would say, "Give me the number 2 mandrel." That's a half-headed pick. And then, having stared at this gorgeous display of black, shining ribbon of coal, he would then hit it with one enormous blow. And if he hit it right, something like 20 tons of coal would fall out from the coal face.
Really?
So that it was thrilling, it was exciting. And indeed, that's why I think when you perhaps think of me as being born with a silver spoon and so on, miners believed themselves, or believed themselves anyway, to be the aristocrats of the working class. They felt superior to all other kinds of manual laborers. They were skilled workers. That coalface was a magical creature.
Has that all been replaced now by mechanized?
Yes, you would drill things now and you
lost some
cut
of the
out
romance.
lumps of yes.
That's what your father would probably be against that.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't say that. He'd say they're not miners at all now. They're just
Machines do the work.
machines do
Yeah.
the work. Yes.
Yeah. Did you have a fear of the mines? What I'm trying to say is, did you see yourself as that was something to escape, to get out into another world?
No, not at all, no. The opposite, as a matter of fact. Everybody's ambition, every little boy's ambition in my valley was to become a miner, because there was the arrogant strut of the lords of the coalface. They had these muscular buttocks and the bow legs, and they walked with a kind of arrogance, and everybody wanted to be like a miner. Wanted to stand on street corners and look at the posh people pass with hostile eyes, and insult the girls from the doctor's daughter, the lawyer's daughter, the preacher's daughter as they passed, and insult them with these cold looks because they were the kings of the underworld.
They looked down on people from below, in a sense, didn't they?
Absolutely. You are clever.
Oh, yes.
You invert things so beautifully.
You'll notice that more and more as we go along.